Welcome to the most forward-thinking, inspirational podcast in this reality. The show designed to challenge everything we've been taught. If you've ever felt there had to be more to life, more to existence, then you're listening to the right podcast. Time to open your mind and dive in. This is the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast.
And here we go.
I think the topic of today will be and is transitions. Transitions in video editing, transitions in life, transitions in death. Death. The ultimate transition. I look at this world that we live in, and I look at the rules that we've been given to play with. And today's been a weird day for me. As somebody who suffered from anxiety and depression and then began living with anxiety and depression and then began thriving with it, it was weird for me today and yesterday, if we're being open and honest, to handle this. And bear with me today. This episode may come across as slow. I'm going to try and articulate best I can the thoughts that are in my head, because to me they are relatively important. This episode to me is just some stuff that's been on my mind. Some stuff that not a lot of people talk about, because we always try to have a positive outlook or portray a certain image. And we don't often get the opportunity to sit with ourselves, with our feeling, with our understanding, comprehension, essence on a lot, because we always have to be on the go. We always have to be running. We always have to be doing something. This world has taught us to always do something. If you're not doing something, you're useless. And if you're useless, your anxiety goes up. If your anxiety goes up, depression could kick back in, and all sorts of fun stuff takes place after that. Yo, domino effect. Recently, we actually just did the episode for my father's birthday. What also happened on October 23rd, 13 days after October 10th, which was his birthday, was the day he passed away. So my dad died October 23rd, 2007. And that's a transition. I don't know if you guys know that. Transitionally out the door. None of us get out of here alive. That is an absolute fact. So we're left with, I guess, when you truly decide to look at it, you're left with the idea that you don't have a choice. One way or the other, you're going to die. And as much fun as that sounds, my curiosity about it is limitless. It's boundless. The two things I find the most fascinating in this reality are the moon. Whatever it is, I love it. It's the same as the sun. I'm not discounting the sun. I don't know why I feel like I have to justify that. You said two things. The moon and the sun are two things. So whatever the other thing is, it doesn't count because you said two things. It's death. Death is the second thing. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The sun and the moon are fascinating. The moon fascinates me. The sun, I understand. The sun heats things up, gives us light, charges things up. But the moon is not something that we've ever been allowed to talk about. Because if you say it's cheese, you're crazy. If you say, it's hollow, it's a bell, it's a satellite. If you say, it's a floating space rock that NASA shot men to the moon to but can't get back to because we destroyed the knowledge and technology that we did back in the 60s. That's when you're normal. That's when it's normal. Oh, I saw it on TV. It's gotta be normal. What the? Anyway, I'm off track. Yeah, y'all shook me up with your moon yibber yabber. You. Let me go. Let me talk about what I want to talk about. Let me talk to you. Anybody want to quote that guy? Who was I just quoting? Yeah. I'm all over the place, ladies and gentlemen. The energy today is a little bit off. Like I said, a little bit off. But I'm still having fun, still smiling, still laughing. Recently, 2 days ago, matter of fact, at 9:45 p.m., a neighbor, acquaintance, friend, somebody I've known for a very long time, and somebody who's done a lot for my family, for my bloodline, for my sister, for my mother. Somebody whose family has impacted our family quite a bit. Somebody who's always had my respect regardless. He passed away. He chose to transition. And I think maybe it hit me more than, like, it hit real close to home. The last thing he ever said to my face, sadly, was 2 years ago. I'm probably misremembering that because I firmly believe that he was at the Christmas party last year. But one of the prolific things, I should say, that he said to me, one of the last things he said to me was, we need to do this more often. And it had come after myself and a few of the other neighborhood gents had all gotten together and sat around the fire in the backyard at one of our other friends' house in the middle of suburbia. We need to do this more often. He passed away from cancer. And as far as I know, and I could be misquoted here, but he had, at best, 30 days notice. Feeling slightly under the weather, checked out, blah, 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 into the hospital, questions, tests, blood work, terrible diagnosis. And he passed away 2 days ago. It got me thinking about everything. The importance of life exists because of death. If you were born here and knew that you would never die, there's a lot of things that you would do differently. So the fear of, and the threat of, and the actualization and the eventuality of death makes what we're doing that much more important. Makes this experience that much more important. Also, that death exists creates a bit of a conundrum. Because death is the yin to life's yang. And life cannot exist without death. You must go somewhere. Because to gain life, you came from somewhere. That's a hard one for a lot of people to grasp, swallow, hold on to, however you want to look at it. But the totality of everything that we've ever been told about everything is also false. So everything that we would even know to think to ask about death is based in false information, is based in the third dimensional rhetoric that we've been fed here. And to those who are asking and seeing more, I'm about to get into something, so I'm going to press this here button.
Disclaimer. If you're going to soundbite any of this podcast, you must soundbite it in its entirety for consistency and context.
Money's fake. Agriculture is fake. The food we eat is fake. Hollywood is fake. Sports are fake and rigged. The bread we eat is fake and slowly killing us in North America. Your financial institutions are all fake. Politics are all fake. Your world leaders are all fake. The idea that we need to be led is fake. The stock market is a sham. Every ounce of everything that we've ever been told we're supposed to do is just living in a zoo. None of it is natural. None of it feels real. Yet it's all that we've ever been known to do. It's all that we've ever been allowed to do. Every ounce of everything that you've ever known is fake. And that's a lot to chew. That's a lot to bite off. So people would say, well, is your friend's death fake? Was your father's death all those years ago fake? Is the moon fake? The moon, the thing that you love, is that fake? You love the moon. Mr. Moon Lover. Fake. Are my relationships fake? See, that's where we draw the line. It's like animals. Now, at what point on this chart do we draw the line of do not eat? People are like, add the goat. Goat. We never question these things. All of our ideologies, all of the stuff that we know, everything that we live from, we just accept. If I said to you paying taxes is foolish, you would say, well, they're going to come and take my house if I don't do that. The law is the system that we live in is fake. And it's not just the system. It is the totality of existence that is fake. And with that fakeness, you do fake things. How am I supposed to articulate that? Well, it is within the information that we have that we make the choices that we make, which lead to the actions that we follow through with. And if all the information that you have is false, you're going to do the wrong thing because you've been given the wrong information to start with. Is this a big deal? I don't think so. Does it mean we're doing it wrong? No. Because we signed on to this. And me saying it's fake is the same as me saying Grand Theft Auto is fake. It's not real. It's just a game. Nobody's going to lose their top over me saying, hey, Grand Theft Auto is fake. But if you were to get upset about it, I want to see it. As my friend Brett says, tarps off. Tarps off, bud. Tarps off. Because it's fake, and since it's fake and that it's fake, is... what's the word I'm looking for? Liberating? Understanding and grasping the fact that where we live is fake. That the food is fake, that the money is fake, that the people are fake, the politics are fake, the sports is fake, the movies are fake, everything's fake. Wrestling's fake, but UFC is real. You understand that division and duality are where we head, what we do, how we do these things, how we understand this stuff. So when we understand things like, oh, I want to be happy, I want this, I want that, you can't be happy. Happiness isn't something that you can strive to be. What you can do is the things that make you feel right. You can actuate on anything inside your life, and you can chase purpose. You can create purpose, and you can chase purpose, and you can play this game. And when you do the things that you know that you're supposed to do, happiness is a result of that. Chasing happiness, however, has us spinning our wheels. It's like chasing money. You chase money, and it's just more and more money. You're never happy because no matter what you did, there's always more. But if you chase purpose, and if you chase that sort of thing, if you play the game that way, then the game is fun. So is it fake? And are we supposed to be upset about it? No. No, Lord, no. What is death? Death is something for us to reflect upon, those that are still alive. Those that are listening to this podcast right now. But that you're listening to this podcast and still alive and understand that death is something that we're observing. It implies that we are then supposed to know what death is. First you're here, then you're gone. But we don't know who you are, how you got here, or where you're going. We just pretend we do. These transitions are fascinating to me. I find myself certainly reflective at this moment in time. But I understand that I'm playing the game. I understand that the game needs to be played. I understand that I am a character inside this game. I'm not a character in the sense where I'm oblivious to what I'm doing. I'm oblivious to what I'm seeing. I'm a character that understands and grasps the idea that there's always something to do. There's always some way to better yourself. There's always some way to achieve something. And to take nothing personally and to literally do your best. And sometimes your best isn't good enough. But not being good enough is part of the game. And when it's not good enough, you utilize your quote-unquote mistakes and you do it again and you do it better. Because if this game was way too easy, we also wouldn't be having any fun. So when people clock out early, and I witnessed my father passing, I witnessed my grandmother passing, I witnessed my stepfather passing, I have an interesting relationship with transitions. And what people say, do, think, be, all the way through. I'm also highly privy to how we're mocked, how those who think freely are mocked in the world, and how we feel we need to defend ourselves against the ridicule of those who don't have the ability to think. If it wasn't told to them via social media or media, then it's not real. This is one of those things. Social media must be real because clearly media is fake. We must get our news from proper sources because the news sources are no longer reliable. So what do? We listen to things. We pay attention to things that we like, that spark our soul. And in doing so, we find what is to be our truth. Your truth exists in a world that needs to exist the way you need it to, for it to be your truth. Your truth and my truth don't necessarily need to be the same thing. They actually don't need to be the same thing. Multiple people can have multiple truths. Let's take a controversial topic. The gays and the trannies. They want to use bathrooms and they want to be treated as equals and they want this, that, and the other thing. And the irony is we're supposed to accept them and they don't even accept themselves. Right? But it's division. So my point is moot. I don't view the world the way you view the world. And my actualization of how I view the world and how I choose to carry myself in and within this world are mine. And they're the truth. How you choose to carry yourself in the world, if you're one of these people, is your truth. And you're 100% entitled to it. Where we find conflict is if you want to cause harm to anyone, including yourself. And the definition of harm is subjective, perhaps. But there is a shared sentiment of what general harm is. So, truths are everywhere, and the ability to accept all truths exist. When you go on the internet, you see people chirping each other about posts. You just see people grown men losing their shit over a sports post. Oh my God, my NFL team has lost. I am going to burn down my jerseys. I spent $200 on these shirts. I'm going to set them on fire because my emotions are all over the place with regards to this team that I love. Talking about grown-ass men. Talking about men whom of which are grown-ass. You're 8. You're 9. You're 10 years old. You pick a team. Most of you pick Dad's team. Makes sense. Dad seems to know what he's doing. You stick with that team until you die. This is my team. Sticking with my team. They suck this year, but they're my team. That's my team. My team. A grown-ass man can pick a team when he's 8 years old and stick with it for life. Because he was trained to do it. Through thick and effing thin. But that same 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old boy grows into a man. Still loves his team. But can't keep a wife. Because we've been inundated with options, choice, illusion. We've been inundated with the opportunity to be disloyal. We've been inundated with absolutely everything that's on your cell phone. This world has collapsed. The world that we grew up in ended. And I want to say in 2000. Because prior to 2000, every single decade / century, you could figure out by seeing pictures, roughly within 10 years, what year that picture was taken. But after the year 2000, nothing. And for me to sit back and say, we're living in a simulation, everything's askew, makes me seem like a crazy person to the layman. And again, this also stems from learning a different language, for example. When you're trying to speak French from English, you correlate French words to the English words. When you're fluent in French, you no longer correlate anything, you just speak openly and freely. As I'm trying to speak esoteric, both to myself as I'm trying to understand it and learn it and comprehend it, the interesting thing about learning the esoteric, though, is not so much picking up new information, it's unlearning everything and trusting your gut and going through intuition. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, you have 3 brains. You have your brain, your heart brain, and your gut brain. Your brain, the thing inside your head, tells your fingernails to grow, your hair to grow, tells men that the hair is going to fall out on the top of their heads and it's going to grow on their face. It tells you to pump your blood. It's not doing anything else. Your gut is essentially what makes you clairvoyant. Your gut is what is your intuition. Your gut brain is the one that is really important. It's the one running the show, which is why every single thing in the grocery store is designed to destroy your gut. Overweight is huge. Even when you're super healthy on big muscles in the gym. You're on steroids, you're on this, you're on that, you're on endocrine disruptive transmitting yibbity-dibbities. Healthiness is lost on us. We're basically a giant rock and we need minerals. Nobody talks about minerals. My truth is indicative of needing minerals. Maybe your truth isn't. We don't need to argue over it. I would love to hear your take and how you got there. And perhaps you could take something from my take and how I got to where I am. And maybe we could both walk away from the situation learning. But we can't when we watch the television and the television tells us to fight each other. You're pre-programmed to fight each other. I was having a conversation a couple days ago with a friend about chemtrails. And he was adamant. There's no chemtrails, contrast. It's no chemtrails. This is what he sounds like. And for me, it's funny because at first I was like, well, do I have to really justify this? And breaking out of that mindset, that mentality, that whole thing is really convoluted to the person who's waking up. You sound crazy to everybody, but ladies and gentlemen, the person that's talking to you about this sounds crazy to themselves, and they're doing the best they can to understand this because they're not happy. We're also taught that if you're not happy, you suck it up, buttercup, and you get going. You go to work. That doesn't make any sense. None of this makes sense. That comedian, Pete, it's drawing a blank. He's talking about, you think you live in America? Zoom out. You live in a space ball. Now, I don't believe in space. I believe space is fake. But the funny thing about that is I don't believe Earth. I believe Earth is fake too. And do you know that most people want to ridicule me for having these thoughts, then question how I got there? I'm not a stupid person. I'm quite articulate. But the world wants to ridicule you. Ladies and gentlemen, this world was meant to ridicule you. Anyone who's waking up, anyone who's going through anything, this world was meant to destroy you, to keep you in line, to keep you in place. But the craziest thing is you built the world. You built this. This is yours. You programmed the whole thing before you jumped in. So you can't even really be mad at it because you're like, hey man, this is where we're going. This is what we're doing. This is what it is today. So when you have these thoughts, these anxiety, these depressions, and for me, somebody who's trained myself and others to get away from it without meds to get off this stuff, it's fascinating when it comes back because you know better. You know full well. It's a part of the game that you've already beaten. But it's coming back to tickle your fancy. So I question, again, the transitions. I question the world. I question sort of everything. I question my position. I question if I'm doing enough. That's one of my biggest pressure points is doing enough. I understand, too, that I've made myself vulnerable. I've been in a relationship now for just over a year and a half. Maybe. I don't fully know the dates or when we agreed to what or who signed what contract where. But I know that I very much care about this girl. And that's scary as shit too, because now all of a sudden for the first time in 45, wait a minute, I'm only 27 years old. Yeah, that's right. For the first time in 45, wait, I did it wrong again. No, for the first time in 45 years, I'm responsible actively for how I treat somebody very close to me. And that doesn't mean it's a shock to be responsible for your actions. It means it's not just me in this experience anymore, even though maybe it is. But she exists. So now I have to make sure that I'm healthier, I'm happier, I'm more mobile, I'm ready to either protect or engage or have fun or be more adventurous or do stuff that's more risque with her to help her have her experience. As she is me. But when you're so used to being alone for so long, you realize that it's only you, it's only ever been you, and there's nobody else there. It's a bit of a responsibility. It's a bit of a grabber. You're like, holy boo, I gotta figure this out. And she's looking at you, not like she's looking at you for answers. She's not some foolish doe. This is one of the most dominant females I've ever met in my entire life. This woman, I can stand on the mountaintops and sing the praises of. She can handle herself in so many amazing situations. She has an amazing personality, amazing sense of humor, a smile that'll set fire to a barn. It's so bright. So I'm not saying that I'm responsible for how she feels. I'm saying that in my world, in my reality, in my essence, I'm not just living for me anymore because there's somebody just as important as me looking at me. And I can learn so much from her. And this is another transition. I'm so excited to be entering this next chapter and this next phase with a partner. But you're opening yourself up to vulnerability. What if one day she decides to leave? What if one day she dies? Inevitable. How am I going to handle that? I don't know. We don't know. Nobody knows. But none of us really think about it because we're just so busy in the moment. And a lot of people have the most beautiful girl in the entire world sitting at home and they're fucking on Tinder. These weak men that society has programmed to be weak and pathetic. And when you're on Tinder with the most beautiful girl in the world at home, you already don't trust yourself. You're already a coward. You're already coming from behind. And how are you supposed to be on point? How are you supposed to be the best version of you if you're so susceptible to, what is it, sins of the flesh? I'm not telling anyone how to live their lives, but I am saying how you do one thing is how you do everything. And I used to hate that saying, but it makes so much sense. So again, like I said, the energy on this episode is slow. I'm kind of all over the place. I'm kind of thinking bigger. Sometimes I have these episodes where I'm really thinking deep. And maybe it shouldn't even go out because maybe this isn't a very well-trained thought. But they say things like, why don't men go to therapy? Well, because we've started podcasts. And for me to sit here and be able to talk through all of this, ladies and gentlemen, remember, this is 28 minutes and 33 seconds right now on the ticker of me unloading my thoughts, unloading my heart, making a statement, making a change, making a growth. Making a growth. This is therapy. I'm talking about another transition. I had a social media client that I've had for just over a year. They went in a different direction today. Does that mean I'm not good enough? Maybe. Does that mean anything? It means that how you chose to deliver yourself to somebody And how they chose to see you is something totally different. What I'm brought back to is the idea of a bottle of water. You know, you buy it in a case, it's just like 20 cents a bottle. You buy it at the airport, it's $7.50 a bottle. You buy it at a concert, you're paying $20 for a bottle of water. It's not you. If you're hell-bent on being better than you were yesterday, your environment plays a factor. But remember, you programmed this game. So whether you fall in love or you get fired or your husband leaves you to go on a 6-week trip to Thailand, that may sound personal. It might be. It was programmed by you to have that experience, to make yourself a better version of yourself. And when we understand that and grab onto that, then the idea of my father being gone is an opportunity for me to say, hey, Dad, you would have loved this. The car that I drive is influenced by him. He drove a Cadillac for years and years. And if Caddy goes back to gas, for the rest of my life, I'll probably buy a Cadillac. I'm currently driving Caddy. And I'll tell you this, I will keep that car as shiny as possible for as long as humanly possible, because to me, it's a beautiful machine. It is a living, live classic right now. This car that I drive will be a classic. Or maybe I just want it to be. Or maybe I'm just so sick of how everything changes that wouldn't it be nice to hold on to something for years and years and years and years and years, and you just love it and cherish it. Every single day I get into that car, it takes me to where I want to go. I listen to it. I hear it. Are there knocks? Are you driving rough? Do we need an oil change? Do we have to get you in? How are the tires doing? I love you and thank you. And that's my dad. I get into that car and my dad's like, hey, nice job, son. Good one. You're continuing the lineage. I look at my niece and I see my dad. I see him in her eyes. And I think, boy, you would have been proud of her. And that's just my experience. My dad wasn't somebody that we had to, make sure he was proud of us. None of that shit. It was just cool to have that man around. It was just cool to have that experience, to be the son of another man. I have the most beautiful sister in the entire world. I have the most beautiful mother in the entire world. I have the most beautiful family in the entire world. Barb and Tom, if you're listening, you guys are batshit crazy. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I look at all of this. I look at everything. And I understand the transition that goes into understanding yourself in the world in which you live. I understand you must have the ups to have the downs, and the downs don't exist without the ups. You're not on a trajectory of straight up or straight down or straight across. You are up and down all over the place because you need to understand contrast, duality. Do we want to fight? No. Does the third dimension fight? 100% of the time. Murder is illegal unless the government asks you to do it. Go over there and murder them folk. For who? And for what? Fear, threats. If you don't, we'll put you in jail. Are you a draft dodger? Are you against the government? They're a gang. They're thugs. We're supposed to believe in the law, but go against anti-law? You're out of your mind. We've been brainwashed, but we were programmed to be brainwashed. I'm saying this and I'm reiterating these things because at the end of the day, you got to wake up in the morning, you got to brush your teeth, you got to make sure that you're the healthiest version of you can be right now so that 10 years from now, you're still functioning and you're still kicking it. And if you die young, it was on you to die young. If you die late, it was on you to die late. But if you do nothing for the entirety of your life, you got to ask yourself, what the fuck was I doing? What was the purpose of this? And I don't think that that's a thing. So, do I make this an arc? Do I talk more about how everything's fake? Maybe I will. Maybe next episode I'll go into big detail about how everything's fake. Maybe next episode I won't. But I like the idea. And you know what? It makes sense to do it. He says it's fake, but he can't back it up. Do you have any links? You need links to prove it? God, the internet's wild. Wild. But it is a microcosm of the world in which we live. All the fake people chirping everywhere on the internet. You don't often see it too much in real life. All the politics, all the showboating, all the pussyfooting around. It's all trash. But all the chaos, the Pizzagates, the Bill Clintons, the Epsteins, the Aviciis, the P. Diddy's, the Oprah Winfrey's, the Dwayne The Rock Johnsons. All of the things that you've come across exist to alert you to the fact that you've been programmed. And deprogramming yourself is part of the game. Do you want to be mad? Do you want to be angry? Do you want to be anything? No. Do you want to talk to people who don't have the ability to understand what you're saying? Not for long. And so for me, I say, understand that in this world and where you are is exactly where you programmed yourself to be. Do you have to fight yourself? Fuck no. Because this world is going to fight you all over the place. Remember, you sit in your own corner 24/7. That voice inside your head that says you're not good enough. Who the fuck is that voice? Right? Remember, we talked about this earlier. You have 3 brains: gut brain, brain, and heart brain. Ego, id, higher consciousness. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. It's all there. The trifecta. There's a reason. If you're telling yourself you're shit, remember, while you're doing it, actively, there's a piece of you talking to another piece of you while the third piece of you watches. You're in control of your own thoughts. All of the negative ones are going to propel you to do great. And all of the good ones are going to get squashed because we don't want to live in the past. Who cares how great your last sale was? What about your next one? That's the saying. Doesn't matter how great you are in sales. It all comes down to your next one. We've been doing this now for 36 minutes. And I want to say thank you guys. Thank you if you stuck through this whole episode, because it is pretty long and it is pretty, I would say, I don't want to say solemn, but certainly lower energy, because a lot of contemplation went into this. And mostly I'm a run and gunner. I just flick record and just go. I don't know. I never have a script. Never really have any idea what I'm going to talk about other than a general idea. Well, let's figure this out. But I want to say this with regards to transitions. And since I just recently got let go, we have an opening. If you have an agency and you want more reach and you want to work with us, boost your social media, boost your internet presence, boost your website, all organic and all perfectly done through the algorithm itself, reach out to us. Info at the Mental Mastery Alliance. I want to help. If you're having a rough go, shoot us a DM on social media. Or again, you shoot me an email directly. If you're having a rough go and you feel that you need to reach out to a perfect stranger, please do. Send us an email. We will reply. Adam at the Mental Mastery Alliance. This world, I guess the final thought on this is, we beat ourselves up or we're depressed or anxiety ridden because of the world in which we believe we live in. The world is an illusion built by us. It is our game that we're playing. And it's up to you to really start having fun with it. Because we did this for a reason. Get in here, get going, have a good time. Thanks. Thanks for listening to me on this one. This was a good one. Ladies and gentlemen, the infamous words of Red Green. If the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handsome.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode of the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast. Stay connected with us directly through the mentalmasteryalliance.com. You can also join the discussion on Instagram at instagram.com/the Mental Mastery Alliance. Let the team know you're listening by using the hashtag TMMA or tagging us at the Mental Mastery Alliance. To have your voice heard on the show, leave a voicemail or send a text to 647-338-1265. Long distance charges may apply. If you love us, leave us a review. If you hate us, you spend your time in weird ways, but also leave a review. Every review on iTunes tickles the algorithm, helping us grow. Until next time, unity over division. This concludes the most surreal portion of your day.
You got it, Pontiac.